What's up, guys? I've had a couple people asking me about my intake setup on my 2014 BMW 750 Li. So I figured I'd make a video and show you guys how I did it and kind of walk you through the process. I'm not going to take anything apart because it's kind of a pain to get everything to fit, but it is doable. So without further ado, here is the new intake setup. So as you know, the air boxes normally sit back here and over there. I took those out. The original turbo inlet pipes used to come out of the turbo, or I guess into the turbo, and come from the air box over here. I went and bought these. These are made for a different kind of like N63. I'll put links for everything in the description, but I bought these because I wanted the intakes to come from behind the grill, come all the way in through here. And this is where the stock tubing also went, up and into the turbo in the most direct flow as possible. I will say with these turbo inlet pipes, this one fit perfectly fine because it's only held in by the one bolt right here, same as the other one. But the stock setup, there is a metal bar that went across that would hold the PCV tubing. That the flange for the bolt on the top of this one would hit, and I tried to shave it down, and it still would rub and catch really bad, so it wouldn't seat into the turbo properly. So I took the metal bracket out, and it fit perfectly fine after that. The only other thing you'll need is after you get these, you also need your MAF sensor pipe. I got this on Amazon. You'll need a 45-degree tube, a 45-degree aluminum piece. There are carbon fiber ones that I've seen, but I just kept with the aluminum since you can't really see down there anyway, so there's no point in making it all pretty. Then another 45-degree, it's hard to see because it's black nylon tubing. Another 45-degree here, connected to that 45-degree aluminum pipe, and it comes out here. And I bought this pipe just to kind of bring the filter out a little bit and make it a little bit more aggressive looking. So all the piping is 3-inch piping. You'll want to make sure you get some sort of heavy duty clamp for up here, because it is kind of a weirder angle, and you'll need to make sure you tighten it down onto this. The one I got, I didn't have to do any drilling or milling or anything to get the MAF sensor to fit in here and fit flush. Other people have said they needed to, but like I said, with the one I got, I didn't have to do that. This piece here is kind of short, so what made it easier for me is to seat it in here, tighten it down a little bit, and then get it to fit in here. I will say the tubing for this 45 here, I left it a little bit too long. If I really wanted to, I would cut another couple inches off of it to make it fit a little bit better, so you get a little bit more play in this rubber tubing here. And this side, excuse me, was done the exact same way as the other side. It's a little bit tight because this electrical box here, this does sit up against it, and your intake will naturally want to sit up higher. So I had to make sure I orientated everything correctly, and it took a lot of playing around. And all cars are going to be slightly different, so you're going to have to do what's best for your car. These cross braces here are actually helping hold this down, which is why I have these rubber pieces here, because it was metal on metal contact. Same thing for this side. The other big thing to pay attention to is when you try to figure out your orientation of the MAF tube, make sure you put it in correctly, because your MAF sensor, the air is coming from this way into it, so it's actually going to be sitting backwards compared to what it was in the stock air boxes. Because in the stock air box, the air would come up through the box, and then as it came out, that's when it would hit the MAF sensor. So your MAF sensor is technically facing that direction, towards the back of the car. Now it's facing the front of the car, so when you mount it in, you just got to make sure you flip it 180 degrees, and then you'll be fine. With this setup, I haven't had any issues. Haven't had any check engine lights. Haven't run rich or lean or anything like that. When I did first install it, there was a whining noise out of my driver's side intake here. And that's how I found out I had a faulty PCV valve. So I went and changed it, put it in. It was a stock PCV valve setup, but I ended up getting that whistle. It was like a whistling noise and stuff like that. It would only happen at idle. When I was driving, you couldn't hear it, but at idle, it got really, really loud. Almost sounded like kind of like a wussy supercharger, but it was super annoying. So I changed the PCV valves, and it came as a whole kit. Swapped it out. The sound went away, but the sound started coming back again. So I didn't want to have to buy another $200 PCV setup. So I went and changed my entire PCV valve system here. Most of these parts I also got on Amazon, like all these fittings and stuff like that, and the hose. These are the actual PCV valves now. They're a ball valve instead of the rubber flap valve that was on the PCV system. I haven't had any issues with these, and I've been running them for about a month now, with no issues. So even with the original PCV system, I had the catch cans. If I would do it, I would do it all in one thing, so you don't have to keep cutting a bunch of hose and stuff like that. This is a really tight fit, trying to shove the barb ending of the PCV valve into the hose, but it does fit in there eventually. It's 10 AN hoses and all 10 AN fittings and stuff like that all the way through. On the passenger side though, that one's a little bit trickier and needed some extra parts. So I had to put this Y fitting in here because you have two vent ports on this side going to the PCV system. You have this one down here, and it came up to a little hose that would travel to the driver's side PCV valve, and then you have the normal one coming out of the crankcase here. So instead of running it all the way across on top of, you know, the turbos and everything like that, I put it into this Y fitting here, into the catch can, and then out of the catch can to the PCV valve, into the actual, back into the intake like it's supposed to be. It kind of looks a little crazy, but it's only because there's so many different sizes of hoses. Like this is a 6 AN hose. This is a 12 AN hose. So I had to go from 12 AN, step down to a 10 AN, so it would fit the fittings I had already. And then this is a 10 AN to 6 AN step down, so I can attach it to this hose. And the rest of these are just 10 AN. This hose here, I believe, If I remember right, it was about a 1-inch hose, inner diameter, and you only need like 2-3 inches of it, just enough to fit onto that intake if you guys ever do kind of go that route. Like I said, I've been running for about a month now. No check engine lights, nothing. Haven't had any issues. There are some pip pops here and there when I let off the gas if I'm like running really hard. Otherwise, she's really quiet. But that's it. That's basically the intake system. And I just kind of threw in the PCV system because I've had questions about that as well. That's basically the intake system and the PCV/cash can setup, all in a nutshell. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'll try to make another video. Kind of go from there. If you need anything, just let me know. Don't forget to check out Reaper Apparel.